if you're not following the best football account on Instagram and TikTok, you should go do that now. At the Deep Ball. It's going to be in the description. Go. Right now you're missing out. It's literally the best NFL content in the world, period. So go ahead and do that. But yeah, we're going to get into this episode 3. Before we start going, my first topic is going to be about the Kyler Lamar debate. Okay, and it's something that I'm extraordinarily passionate about, especially when it comes to misunderstood quarterbacks like them two. And we got a guy who made a video about that, and I'm going to give my thoughts about it after the video's over. So go ahead and roll it.
Kyler Murray is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson right now, and I know that seems like an incredibly hot take, but please, allow me to explain why. Now, I do want to say that Lamar is underrated as a passer. He's got a lightning-quick release, and he's worked to improve his accuracy downfield, and that definitely showed early on in the season. But at the end of the day, Kyler is just the far more complete passer. He's got better arm talent in terms of zip and downfield ability, and I really don't think people realize just how special Kyler's touch along the sideline is. Watch how he hits AJ Green on the fade route away from the defender outside the numbers. He can do that all day. He is a great outside the numbers thrower. And while he does play behind the better offensive line, facing pressure is no problem for him because he is one of the best at throwing off platform and throwing with unique arm angles. But Lamar tends to struggle under pressure to dissect defenses and deliver accurate passes, and I think this game against the Dolphins is a great example. Brian Flores was constantly dialing up cover 0 and challenging Lamar to think quickly, and he just couldn't do it, and he ended up having probably the worst game of his entire season facing this type of pressure. Now, in terms of using his legs, Lamar is definitely the better quarterback. I view them pretty similarly in terms of escapability, making plays on the run, evading pressure. And Lamar does Lamar things. He's the greatest rushing quarterback of all time. I'm not going to take that away from him at all. But you'd be lying to yourself if you didn't say that Kyler Murray is also an elite rusher. And the way he manipulates defenses on read options is pretty similar to Lamar. He's also pretty explosive. He breaks off for big runs as well. In terms of coaching, they're pretty similar. Lamar obviously has Greg Roman. He's awful. But Kyler Murray probably has one of the worst head coaches in the league in Cliff Kingsbury. Ever since 2019, Lamar has not been able to sustain a level anywhere near his MVP caliber season, whereas Kyler in the last 2 years has been pretty much considered a top 10 quarterback both years. Both of their seasons were hindered last year due to injury issues down the stretch, but let's not forget that Kyler Murray was like one of the biggest MVP candidates for pretty much the majority of the season. I don't blame you if you think Lamar is better here, but it absolutely is a debate, and I lean towards Kyler Murray because he's had the far better last 2 seasons, he's by far the better passer, and he does similar things with his leg.
Alright, so that was that, bro. And listen, I understand that what he said about Kyler is he has a very good point, and they kind of both had similar situations with injuries and like he mentioned, but I do think right now Lamar still is the better quarterback, and here's why. I think overall, you look at their situation, Kyler has a lot more playmakers, and I know a lot of them got injured late in the year. He has, I feel like he said, the better O-line. But you look at overall from 2019, which was basically Lamar's rookie year. I mean, you want to take 2018 and put it in there, which he played pretty good down the stretch. But 2019 was his first full year starting, and he was the MVP. Right now, you want to say, okay, Kyler had 24 TDs, 10 touchdowns to Lamar's 18 to 8, something like that. 18 to, I don't want to bash the stats. 16 to 13 TD to interception ratio this year. I know that's not great, but there's a lot of. I mean, Baltimore probably had the most injuries I have ever seen, and Tennessee. It was like I don't even know how the fuck they were 8-3 at one point. Like they were literally the number 1 seed at one point, and Lamar Jackson was the quarterback behind that. You're an MVP. You're a former MVP. You have 36 TDs, 6 interceptions. You run for 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. You're going nuts, right? And you're doing things that no quarterback has ever done. And hasn't done since, if you want to compare, since Michael Vick with the Falcons. You just can't compare that. You can't just be like Kyler. I think overall Kyler is a fairly good quarterback, but the things that he said, he has better touch and on the sidelines, but what's what's good about that if you can't use it consistently? I feel like they're both, it's hard to debate because they're both pretty, lately they've been both pretty inconsistent. Down the stretch, Kyler Murray, it's been like this first 3 years. I think overall the team gets a bit better, but the quarterback gets worse. The play from the quarterback gets worse. And I think that has to do with coaching, but it also has to do with plays like where he's looking down the middle and Zach Ertz is running wide open and he doesn't pull the trigger. There's so many times you go on film and you see that and you're like, what are we doing? He's breaking contain way too fast. He's way too impatient in the pocket, I feel like sometimes. And I feel like in big moments he folds, you know? We watched Lamar Jackson literally carry the Ravens team in the beginning of the year before it fell apart. Kyler wasn't really carrying the team. The running game was. And, you know, that's usually the case for the Ravens too. But you looked at Lamar and you just got that MVP vibe once again before everything kind of fell to shit. He was the overtime game against the Colts. Like, they were down 25-9. The game against the Lions, they should not have even been anywhere close to winning that. Marquise Brown had like 4 drops. I mean, and they still made it. Like, I'm trying to think of other games. I mean, against the Chiefs on Sunday night, like what he pulled off was insane. He did that basically by himself. Like, Kyler didn't do any of that. He doesn't have those kinds of games where he takes over and he's clutch in the final moments. So you need your quarterback to make a play. So I'm not saying he can't or he hasn't really, but it's just more often than not, Lamar's going to do it more. And he has done it more. He's had an MVP season. You can't say, I know it's right now. I know it's a different season. Like, I get it. But you look at their numbers, it's really not that far off. Kyler hasn't thrown for over 24 TDs, 26. He's had a 2-to-1 INT ratio, TD to INT ratio his whole career. What has he done? He's made one playoff appearance, and I know that's more than just the quarterback. And the wins, I know, like, I'm not saying they're fully a quarterback stat, but what he did in the playoffs, like, you can't say that that's like just, oh, that's coaching. That's Kyler Murray playing bad. You know, Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, I know his first playoff game wasn't anything great. Second playoff game wasn't anything great. 2020, he won one. Should have won the Bills game, honestly. They just shot themselves in the foot so many times. But I think it's okay to be like, Kyler can have games where he's better, but there's no way that a unanimous MVP, a player with, I know this isn't fully a quarterback stat, but it is. It's hard to win a lot of games without a good quarterback. And he has 41 wins, the most before turning 25. Lamar Jackson does. I mean, career completion percentage is like the same as Tom Brady, which, I mean, obviously it's a little inflated, that stat. It's a little biased because of the amount of games. But, I mean, you look at the two play. You look at the moments where they needed to play their best. It's clear-cut Lamar Jackson. It's not even close because they're so similar in terms of like the way they play. And running, Lamar's the best running quarterback. There's no doubt about that. He has a leg up on wins, MVPs. So I know he says right now, but what does that mean? Overall, Lamar's better, I feel like. You can't. And with less weapons, I mean, Lamar has the better coaching staff, but no, I don't see the consistency in Kyler. I think Kyler falls apart under pressure. I don't think he is the guy that you want when the game's on the line. I'd take Lamar Jackson. I mean, we saw what he did last year and years before. I'd take him 100%. The game against the Browns in overtime like in 2020, like all those games. I'm naming so many. Like I can't even think. There's so many that come to my mind. There's none really that come with Kyler. I mean, he's had good games. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's had games where he's, put the team on his back, I guess you can say. But the clutchness overall, which I guess that does mean right now, I think Lamar is better. And people say, I guess you can say, oh, it's close, but I don't know. To me, I'd take Lamar in a heartbeat. I'm not going to question it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. He does have good points, so I'm not saying that what he's saying was wrong. I'm just like putting my 2 cents in there, man, because I really sick and tired of the Lamar Jackson debates, man. He's a great quarterback. Put respect on his passing. We got teams that'll disappoint. I know this is going to be a surprise to most. Tennessee, I don't think Tennessee's making the playoffs. The culture there is really good. They got Vrabel. I mean, Vrabel's a guy's locked in. You watch Bussin' with the Boys. Taylor Lewan will tell you how it is. They got him locked in 24/7. I mean, they're like one of those teams where they're built for adversity, and they're going to claw and fight to the end. But I mean, you lose AJ Brown, you lose Rashaan Evans, Corey Davis 2 years ago. Well, basically a year ago. They don't have explosive guys. They got Hooper, they got Woods, they got Derrick Henry, of course. But how much can you give Derrick Henry? You can only give somebody like him so much work to where his knees fall out, bro. His ankle gives out. Like it did this year. It's too much for Derrick Henry. Even someone like him is a freak of nature. Injuries catch up to you, And Tannehill, the whole situation with them, it's like, why'd you draft Malik Willis when Tannehill's a pretty good quarterback? I don't know. Didn't make sense to me, but I don't know. I look at like a team like that. I think the Colts are a better team than them overall. Their defense is good, don't get me wrong. They got Simmons and Landry and Christian Fulton, Molden, Kevin Byard, Hooker. That secondary is really good, but the AFC is just too much, and I think Indianapolis will win the division when it's all said and done. You just don't have enough playmakers on offense. That's what it really comes down to, I feel like. The Patriots. That's what happens when you go mediocre. You put a lot of money into mediocre, and everyone thinks you're making these moves and you're doing really good things, but in reality, you're just throwing money at average players. Good players, don't get me wrong, but Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, like Hunter Henry, and let's see who else. Jabril Peppers, good players, but they're not winning Super Bowls, bro. Saints are getting Tyrann Mathieu, To me, it's like Bengals go get Jamar Chase when they already have 2 really good receivers. They go get 3 great offensive linemen. Well, I don't want to say great, but, pretty good. They're looking better than they even were last year. They were in the Super Bowl, I don't think you can throw money at mediocre and make it work. It just, Devontae Parker, good player. Don't get me wrong. They have a good team, but the AFC is the AFC. That's just the reality now. You look at AFC last year and New England, if they had the team that they had last year, if they had the team that they had last year, which is just not even better than what they had last year, they probably make the playoffs like they did, but not this year, man. No way. You can't win the AFC or your division with teams like the Dolphins and the Bills with Devontae Parker as your number 1. But that's saying a lot because Parker's good. Henry is a good tight end. Good running game. Good offensive line. Good quarterback. Didn't play like a rookie last year. He played like a veteran. But the safety net passing game that they have, I don't think they're explosive enough. I don't think they have, like the situation with Tennessee, they just don't have the playmakers overall. Secondary is good with versatility, but I think when it comes to one-on-one outside corners, like you're going to have a lot of trouble with Malcolm Butler as your number 1 corner, especially with AFC receivers, bro. It's just not going to happen. Like maybe in a weaker division in the NFC, but not with the AFC and the AFC East. The monsters you have to guard Diggs, Davis, Hill, Waddle, Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson. Like, bro, come on. Not looking too good. And, a team that we were just talking about, Arizona. They got worse. The culture's a mess. I feel like after this season, Kingsbury's gone. I feel like after this year, they're making changes either at quarterback or coaching, and I think Kingsbury is going to be the guy who's out the door, bro. Out the fucking door. Sorry. Hopkins suspended first 6 games. You lose Chandler Jones. JJ's about to be fucking on his 15th shoulder injury. Like, I mean, he's 32, 33. Front seven's just not that good. Front seven's really weak, I feel like. They don't really have that star power. I feel like they got guys where they feel like they can be versatile with, but they just don't fully grasp the defense. Like, you got Simmons, Zaven Collins. I know what they're trying to do with Vance Joseph and, like, the different kinds of fronts that they show, but I just think overall, like, you could just dissect them, bro. I mean, you give that front seven stops when they stop putting pressure on the quarterback. I mean, teams were able to pick apart the Cardinals, especially late in the year. The Packers did it with their practice squad receivers. You know, it's so I just have especially in that division too, best division in the NFC. I think. I feel like if not maybe the NFC East. It's crazy to even say that now. Yeah. I think NFC West got the best division in the NFC, but yeah, I don't think Arizona's going anywhere anytime soon. I got bowl prediction. Super Bowl. This is my preseason Super Bowl predictions. I put a lot of thought into this. I really feel strongly about these two. We're going to go AFC first. I have the Buffalo Bills. AFC is stacked. You have the entire AFC West. You have the Dolphins. Colts made some moves, you know. Ravens, Bengals look even better. You would say the Browns, but we don't know the situation with Deshaun. I got the Bills. I think the Bills are culture-wise and just where they're at right now with their players, it's like second to none. McDermott and that entire staff is just they are some of the best play callers. I mean, you lose Dayball, which is huge, but you still got Frazier, you still got McDermott. I don't know who they replaced at offensive coordinator. I should know, but I'm drawing a blank. But Josh Allen is generational. He's everything that we thought Cam Newton would be for a longer time. You know, he is 6'6", 250, can run like a professional athlete, which what he is. Yeah, he's a professional athlete. He can run like crazy, jump over you, throw a 90-yard pass on his knees while eating a bag of Tostitos with sunglasses on. He can just do that. He's just built like that, bro. You know, that's that made in the lab, bro. That's that made in the lab kind of talent. And you got Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Jamison Crowder, Dawson Knox. Running game ain't that special, but when you got Josh Allen, it's going to work itself out. A lot of depth on the D-line. They rotate those guys like, I mean, they're fresh every other series, bro. It's like nothing I've ever seen in the AFC and in the NFC, really. They have the most versatile defensive line. Now that you add Von Miller, bro, forget it. I mean, it's like Milano's great. The secondary's flawless. Yeah, you got a Super Bowl team in the Buffalo Bills. I think it's going to happen this year. NFC is going to be, this is going to be a little shocking, but the Eagles, bro. The Eagles. I'm telling you, Philadelphia, they got something. Sirianni, I'm going to tell you why. Sirianni got the most out of that team, and it was mediocre. It had no business being in the playoffs. He got the most out of that team. You know why? He established an identity. The running game, he brought it to new heights. He made Jalen Hurts look great with the running game. I feel like it made him a better passer as well. The RPOs, all that. And they did that with Devontae Smith as their number one. You got Goddard. You got A.J. Brown now. That's what's crazy, bro. The additions is what's people aren't talking about enough. You have the coaching staff, like I mentioned, like they were great last year. You got an identity, and you bring in the draft, you bring in Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, and then you bring in Jaquiski Tartt, James Bradbury in the secondary, A.J. Brown. We all know that's one of the moves of the offseason. Kaiser White, great linebacker, you pair him with T.J. Edwards, and Hassan Reddick. You got your pass rush, your number one receiver, two great pieces in the secondary, two veterans, going to hold it down. 2 first-round talents in the draft on defense. Bro, they're lit. Like, everywhere. They're stacked, bro. That D-line, we're talking about the Bills D-line, the Eagles probably got arguably one of the best D-lines in the league. Like, they're lit right now. They're in the locker room. They're hitting that Philly, you know, drinking Bud Light. I mean, I don't know if they do that after the game. I don't know if that's warranted by the end. I don't know if Goodell's letting that slide, bro. But, I mean, you got to give it to him. Bud Light's at the end of the game, baby. They're a good-ass team. Offensive line's good. Quarterback is only going to get better, I feel like. Coaching staff's good. Running game's flawless. Receiving room just got better. I don't think they got a lot of weaknesses. If they hit on all cylinders, they're a 14-win team, 15-win team, I feel like, man. For real. That's my Super Bowl, man. Bills and Eagles. Opinion may change, obviously. But, yeah. We're going to get into some news and just some thoughts. I've been thinking a lot about Tua Tagovailoa, the hefty lefty, you know. But, I don't know. I've just been thinking, man, you know, like, I feel like he's got a great supporting cast around him. I heard an interesting stat about Tua on TikTok. If I can find it, I'll credit the guy. I just don't remember who it was that said it, but he led the league in aggressive attempts, something like that. And with that comes good and bad. And the good is, you know, you're aggressive. And if you can make those aggressive throws in between defenders, it's like, wow, you know, you got something special. But that also means you're probably making bad reads and throwing it into tight windows, which is also bad. It could be going the other way. But I just thought that was an interesting stat. It wasn't Mahomes or Allen who feel like they chuck the ball everywhere like it's backyard football. But nah, it was Tua, man. He led the league in that stat, and I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. Last year, you know, I feel like even last year he was protected, and they were trying to make it really simple for him, but he just couldn't really, you know, get it going. He's really accurate. You know, he's going to get you the completions. It just, you look at the things like he reminds me of like a more mobile Drew Brees, you know, what he could be. I feel like that's a ceiling. But right now it's looking like just average Drew Brees, you know. Drew Brees, maybe he had a couple cracked ribs and he's playing on one leg, Drew Brees, you know, and that's still pretty good, man, but it's not going to get the cut. I mean, Tua's like, you look at his stats, you look at the way he's playing, it's just meh, you know, and meh's not going to do it. You know, I think Mike McDaniel can get the most out of that offense, especially with the run designs that he has. It's crazy. That offense is going to revolve around the run game. I really feel like, you know, people are saying, man, Waddle and Hill, great duo. Bro, that running game is going to be sick. If they can get that offensive line humming, watch out for that running game. And they could be dangerous, too. If Tua can, like, elevate his game, I think he could be dangerous. But just right now, I don't know. I feel like he's the most mysterious, you know, quarterback, the most mysterious story, the enigma, if you will, for a lack of a better term, you know. I don't know. It just intrigues me, man. I want to see what he does. I feel like the Dolphins can be something special this year, but I feel like Tua gets a lot of hate, man. But I think he'll be good, you know. We just got to wait and see, you know. I don't know. I just have that gut feeling that Tua is going to turn it around this year. It may not be, you know, the fact that they won 9 games last year is pretty crazy. They weren't that good, but they're a great team this year, man. And if they can, you know, hit on all cylinders, like I said with other teams, like, they're a playoff team, no doubt. No doubt. Tua will shock some people, I feel like. Trending news. Bro, where's Baker going? Where's Baker going, bro? You got Seattle and Carolina. Baker Mayfield is, all right, I'll say 10 times. I'm just going to say 10 times better than what you got right now. I mean, obviously, you put someone like Aaron Rodgers on the Seahawks and Panthers, that's like 50 times better. But Baker's like a lot better than what the Seattle Seahawks and Carolina Panthers have in their QB room. It's not that great, man. Make the move, bro. Make it happen. You know, he's fully healthy. You have no reason not to. Give him a fresh start. He's a good quarterback. He's had flashes. He's still young. The Browns, they made him play through injury, bro. They didn't protect him. You know, it was like kind of shady. I'm not going to lie. It was kind of messed up. Baker deserves a home, man. Make it happen. It wasn't fair what happened to him with Cleveland. It just wasn't. And he knows that, man. That's why he's ticked off. I would be ticked off. Anybody would. It takes a lot of guts, man, to speak up like he did. People were saying, man, you shouldn't have. Fuck that, Baker. Do what you want. You're not hurting anybody. You're not saying anything negative. But, yeah, that's about it. No stress. Stay blessed. Thanks for tuning in. Got a lot of news. Got a lot of positive things about this right now. Cleared some air. Got some thoughts out of my mind. Like I said, if you're watching this, go follow the Deep Ball if you haven't already. And, yeah, have a good day. That's it.